Hi, this is Brent Sherbin from DragTheBar.com. I'm going to discuss bankroll considerations with tournament poker. So poker is a form of high-risk investment. Even the best players with a big advantage can go broke if they don't have enough money to cover the downswings. However, the great thing about tournaments is you can turn a small buy-in into a big score, but you need to understand how to take on an appropriate amount of risk to withstand the bad luck. There are factors that can help you cut down on the variance in tournaments, as well as to greatly reduce the risk of losing your bankroll before you hit a big score. Now this video will cover those factors, as well as help you understand the degree of the ups and downs that are inherent in playing poker tournaments. So let's discuss expected results in poker tournaments. If you're better than the average, you can expect to cash or finish in the money greater than 10% of the time, but not even the best online players are finishing in the money more than 20% over a large sample size of tournaments. If you're a solid player, you may show a return on investment of 100%. For example, that would mean if you're a solid player, it'd be reasonable to average winning $20 for every $10 tournament you enter. That's a profit of $10 or 100% of your investment. And excellent players can show a return on investment of 200%. Even great players expect to experience streaks of 20 to 30 tournaments without cashing, and it's essentially the big scores, those final tables and top 3 finishes, that bring the player into their expected return on investment. Big win frequencies are dependent on the average entrant size of the tournaments played, but if a player is playing a 100-person tournament and they're slightly above average, they'll typically have a top 3 finish 1 out of 3 tournaments. Let's discuss bankroll suggestions. So, if even good players can go 30 tournaments without cashing in the money, and will often go more than 30 tournaments before hitting a big cash win, it's not surprising that it's recommended to give yourself a sizable cushion for your poker tournament bankroll. Multitable tournament rules of thumb usually suggest having 50 to 100 buy-ins in your bankroll for the tournaments that you're playing. If you want to play $10 tournaments, you should usually have at least $500. Now these requirements are for players that plan on playing a high number of tournaments over the long haul. If you're more casual and just want to give playing tournaments a chance, having 20 to 30 buy-ins should be enough for you to get a good feel for the ups and downs of tournaments and give you a good opportunity to get a couple of those in-the-money cashes and have a shot at a big score. Now here are some tournament factors that affect the fluctuations of your bankroll. First of all, buy-in. Obviously, the higher the buy-in relative to your bankroll size, the more chance you have of going broke. Second, the number of players. As discussed earlier, the more players, the harder it is to accomplish a big cash. So the more players, the more variance there will be. Thirdly, the type of tournament. A rebuy tournament is also going to add more variance than a standard tournament. The actual fees paid will end up being a multiple of the entry fee, and there will be several players playing a more aggressive strategy that will create more of a discrepancy between the big stacks and small stacks. Finally, the tournament structure. For a skilled player, typically a tournament with more starting chips in relation to the blinds and slower blind levels is going to give them more opportunities to accumulate chips safely, and it's going to lower the variance of the tournament. So how to cut down the luck factor and make your bankroll last? First of all, target the appropriate types of tournaments. Based on the size of your bankroll, you should look to play tournaments with an appropriate buy-in based on the suggestions above. If you're inexperienced or having trouble building or maintaining your bankroll, you should avoid rebuy tournaments or tournaments with massive fields of people. And look for deep stack tournaments to get the most play for your money. Avoid those turbo tournaments until you're comfortable with the ability to play within your bankroll. Next, take advantage of those freebies. Carbon Poker offers several free roll tournaments every day that have no entry cost, and many online legends have built their first bankroll on free rolls. And as you build points by playing in tournaments, sit and goes, or cash games, you'll be able to use these points to enter tournaments. This is like an earned free roll. Next, satellites. Satellites are smaller buy-in tournaments that allow you to win an entry into a much larger tournament. Satellites are a great way to play within your bankroll requirements, but still have an opportunity to play in larger buy-in tournaments outside of your bankroll. And finally, improve your skill. As your skill as a poker tournament player improves, your in the money, return on investment, and big cashes will all go up while your variance will go down. So take advantage of all the training and learning opportunities available to improve your game. So finally, let's discuss putting it into practice. When you open an online poker client, such as Carbon Poker, you will see that there is a Tournaments tab. Here you'll see a list of the available tournaments. On the right, you'll see a legend that contains many of the icons that characterize the details we'll be looking for. For example, you can see icons for rebuy, turbo, free roll, points, and even deep stack tournaments. And as you look at the list of tournaments in each section, they'll have the appropriate icon listed under the type column. So the tournaments are usually sorted by start time, but you can also sort them by entry fee or number of players. And in addition, you can click on the filter arrow, and here you can filter the tournaments based on the stakes, the number of seats per table, the game type, and the status. And finally, you'll notice that there is even a special tab for satellites specifically. So in this way, it should be easy to find the tournament that you're targeting to build your bankroll with the higher rate of success.